Welcome to State of Minds, presented by Hope Gas and by Greer Industries. The name Jeff Hostetler is etched in the sports history of West Virginia University and the NFL. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion, best known for the classic 1991 game where he led the Giants to a 20-19 victory over the Bills. He had two successful seasons as a quarterback for the Mountaineers in 1982 and 83 and led the team to memorable victories over Oklahoma, Maryland, Pitt. He's a member of the WVU Sports Hall of Fame. He and his wife, Vicki, settled in Morgantown after his playing days. He's established himself as a successful entrepreneur. Well, he and his wife also give back in the community through the Haas Foundation and other efforts. With all that success on the field and off, Jeff largely avoids the spotlight and keeps a generally low profile, at least as much as he can, considering he's instantly recognizable anywhere in the state, and he's married to the daughter of the legendary coach Don Nehlen. But Jeff has agreed to sit with us on this edition of State of Minds. Jeff, welcome. Good to talk to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that introduction.
Well, it's all true. What can I say? So tell me now, and for the last, I think, decade or so, you've been into the construction business or land development and building homes. What got you into that?
Well, when I was playing, gee whiz, we moved. We had different homes at different times, and we actually bought at different stages. And when I was going to school, I always loved architecture. I loved the design end of it and that. And so building my own homes and being part of the process as I was playing, I just really enjoyed it. And so when I got done playing, I thought, I'd like to build a house. So I built my own house. And then next thing you know, I built one for a family member and then another family member. And then, I built one for my dad and my mom. And, it was one of those things where I enjoyed that aspect. I enjoyed the design end of it. And, it was something I could do hands-on. I grew up on a farm.
Right.
We had dairy cows and chickens, and you just saw the work of your hands at the end of the day. And that sort of was, a way for me to be able to see the work of my hands. And also, some of the design end up and the creativity, it filled a real nice void for me.
So you actually get your hands dirty. You're not sitting in the office all the time. Is that what you're saying?
No, I am saying that. I have three sons, and one of the things that I wanted them to learn, nothing was given to them. I wanted them to earn things, just as I had. I was one of 7 kids growing up on a farm, and we had nothing, and we worked our butts off. We had to get up in the morning before school and do chores, and after school, after practice, we would get in 7:30, 8 o'clock, sometimes after doing our work after school. So all those things I look back on, and man, they taught me valuable lessons. And those are the things I wanted to pass on to my sons. And how can I tell them how difficult it is to earn money, to make a living, to be successful without being in the trenches, basically. Mm-hmm. And so, I would get in the ditches. I would dig ditches. I would anything that was part of the building process, I wanted to do, because if I was going to employ people, I wanted to make sure that I knew what they were going through and how long it would take and how difficult it was. I wanted to taste that, mm-hmm. and I wanted my sons to do the same.
So given your upbringing, was it the work ethic that helped with football, or the lessons in football that help with what you're doing now?
Growing up, without a doubt, it's the work ethic that I learned on the farm. It was the work ethic that my mom and dad showed us that were examples. Growing up on a farm, everything goes wrong all the time, and you can't just quit. I remember watching my dad at times just every morning get up, out to the barn.
Milk the cows.
Every evening out and doing the work, and then coming in late at night. And day in, day out, whether he was sick, whether he didn't want to, was having a bad day, any of those things, he had to continue. So he had to persevere. He had to continue to plug away. And same with my mom. And so that really helped me, I think, in everything that I do. As far as with football, as far as with school, as far as with life. You learn that things aren't always going to be great. And sometimes, you can work really, really hard and it's still not great. You're still not successful. But if you continue to do it, one way or another, things are going to be work out. You're going to be successful, and it may not be in the world's eyes, but God's made us this way. He's blessed us with so many things, and I think that's one of our attributes that we need to have is we're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to work hard, and if it doesn't work out exactly how we want, just keep plugging away because God's got better plans.
One of the other things that you're involved in, along with Vicki, a charitable organization, is the Haas Foundation. And that's been active for a number of years. And you're very involved in these organizations to support the community, children at risk, those kinds of things. Where did that come from, and what's the latest on that?
Okay, well, growing up, again, a strong Christian family. And my mom used to make all of us, all 7 kids, go and help families that were less fortunate than us. I mean, we didn't have anything, but we had each other. And my mom was an amazing homemaker.
Dolly.
Yes, and she could cook, she could bake, she could keep a house, she could anything, and raising kids. And she's a strong Christian woman. She used to always say, "Hey, we're going to help this family that's struggling, or we're going to take them some food, or we're going to do this or that." And there were times when actually she would grab my ear and say, "You're going." And just seeing that and being steadfast in that, going to help others that are going through a really tough time, that was instilled in me, at that age. And so, as I grew older, when I was playing here, we used to go to the Children's Hospital all the time to supposedly help the kids and make the kids feel better. And in reality, what happened was you went in there and you realized really what true courage was, true strength was, and you realized how things could change in just an instant. And so when I would leave there, I was the one that was blessed, instead of me going in there and saying, well, I'm going to bless the kids because of my participation and my coming to see them, when in reality, it was just the opposite. And so I ended up having 3 sons and almost lost all 3 at different times. So we were in hospitals quite a bit. And part of that was we were very, very fortunate to have great outcomes for our kids in the things that we went through. But lots of families don't have that outcome, and lots of families didn't have the resources or the family that I did. And so my wife and I always have wanted to give back, and that's part of the reason that we formed our Haas Foundation, so that we could help families going through traumatic injury or illness or a financial crisis. And then we really are involved with our Children's Hospital, and wanted to give back, wanted to help those families going through stuff that nobody really knows unless you've actually gone through it. And that was one of the things Vic and I learned real quickly, that people don't know what to say when they see you when you're going through tough things with your kids. And then they'll let out that, "Oh, I know what you're going through." And it would just kill us because you have no idea. And so that was one of the things that we wanted to make sure that we were able to help families that are going through tough times that we'd have no idea how tough it is, but we wanted to make it just a little bit easier. And so financially we would do some things, but also we were real involved in the building of the new Children's Hospital. Sure. And we put the Hostetler Family Resource Center on the top floor, and that is in a locker room theme.
Yeah, I've seen it.
We were able to get former WVU athletes to join in with us and to participate and make it into that locker room theme, a place that does not look like a hospital. It allows the families to be able to get to a place where they don't feel the walls closing in, and they don't feel like they're in this hospital, it's just struggling. And so we provide all kinds of resources there and opportunities, and our goal is to help those families get through some really, really tough times.
Your mom and dad, Norm and Dolly,
Yeah.
have both passed on.
Yes.
But they would have been alive to see the work that you and Vicki are doing here. Did they give you any feedback on that ever?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They're proud of you.
Yeah, they would be. I mean, they did a good job with their kids. All my brothers and sisters and their families. Mom and dad's imprint is in them, and I get a little emotional. It just brings back a lot of emotion, actually, because you miss them. But they didn't have a whole lot, but they had everything, and they gave it all to us. And that's something that I, as a dad and a parent, brother, would like to be able to do. And so that's part of our goal. Yeah.
As long as you and your family are doing the kinds of things that were inspired by your parents, then they're still around.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Yeah, they are. They are. And I think about that lots of times. I go up to the hospital and I'll see families and that, and we'll do certain things, and I think about mom and dad all the time, and I'm trying to instill that in my grandkids. I have
of which 9, you have 9.
I have 9 of them, and the 10th is on the way here within the next couple weeks. And it's one of my goals is to instill that into them, that whatever, to be aware. To be aware of your surroundings, to be aware of your teammate, to be aware of your classmate, to be aware of your friend, and just to make sure that they're okay. And if they're not, do something about it.
Do you find that challenging in today's environment with kids or grandkids? Because there's so many distractions, many more than when you grew up or I grew up?
Yeah, I think so. And I think as they get older, it becomes more and more difficult. And so that's part of my job right now is when they're young, when they're like clay, and we're able to help mold some of those things. That's what we're trying to install. That's the job of Mimi and Pappy. Is to help instill some of those things, to be aware, and to help give back. And,
do they listen, or they say, "Oh, Pappy"?
No, they actually listen. I've been really blessed, and they are phenomenal. I mean, every time we have them, it's Vic and I will look at each other and just say, "Wow, how blessed we are." Or I had this conversation with this little 3 or 4 or 5-year-old, and just to hear them and to see them. And I do a thing with my grandkids with Bible verses, because my faith has always been really, really important. And so I'm trying to instill that in my grandkids. And the little difference here is I bribe them. I'm not shy about doing it, because once you have that word in your mind, and you know those things, who knows when they come back out, and really when you can use that and make a difference. And so it's been awesome. We've been really blessed. Been blessed to be able to bless, and that's all goes back, I think, to my mom and dad.
West Virginia has mountains of potential.
I grew up in the Canal Valley. It's a privilege to be a West Virginian. What we've got to continue to drive in this state is that concept of hope for the future, moving not just West Virginia forward, but moving the nation forward.
West Virginia is for hope.
Hope Gas is lighting the way forward for West Virginia. Learn more at wvisforhope.com.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Start your new year off right with a new ride from Dan Cava GMC. Come explore our 2026 GMC Acadias. Spacious, smooth, and made for everyday life. It's truly a fan favorite. Drive into winter with a new 2026 GMC Sierra, now up to $12,000 off, or lease as low as $499 a month. So upgrade your ride this year with us at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop Thora.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Welcome back to State of Minds, presented by Hope Gas and by Greer Industries. Here's a quote from you. The Super Bowl victory was a good beginning on the list of what I hope to accomplish. So what is more rewarding, a Super Bowl victory or the work you're doing now?
Well, obviously on a professional stage, the Super Bowl is it. But it fades, you know. I mean, as time goes on, I'm always one of those. I think there's 35 NFL quarterbacks that are alive right now that can say that they won a Super Bowl. That's a small group. But as time goes on, things fade, and as new guys come in, you know, you keep down the totem pole, you know, and so that's not a something that is life lasting as far as impactful. It has its impact, but compared to being able to help a family get through a really difficult time, or to see mom and dad smile again while their child's going through a horrendous thing in the hospital, those are things that I know personally that those families will never forget. And at some point, that visit, that unknown kind gesture, will be remembered, and it will change somebody's life. And who knows the people that I may have come in contact with that because of that contact will turn around and do the same thing that I'm doing.
Yeah. Let's go back to 1980.
Wow.
Yeah. You're in your second season at Penn State. You're playing quarterback, although Todd Blackledge got most of the snaps that season. What made you decide to transfer rather than compete with Todd Blackledge in 1981 for the starting job?
Well, I had competed with Todd for two full years,
okay,
and won the job as going into my sophomore year. Actually played in a couple games as a freshman, which at that time was very unique.
Yeah.
And so won the job, starting job at the beginning of the year. Played 3 games. We won 2, lost to Nebraska. The following week, Paterno came in and said he was going to make a change. And it was like, wow. He made the change, and I ended up getting demoted, playing basically on the scout team, things like that. I was playing really well. I finally figured out that my dad always said, don't let any one individual control your destiny, what you do, what your value is. And I wasn't about to let Paterno do that to me. He was part of our family. I had 2 older brothers that went there, a younger brother that went there, a brother-in-law that played there, sisters that went to school there, sister-in-laws that went to school there. So we knew all about it, and it was sort of the family place. But you know, we just had the opportunity to compete, and I had the opportunity to compete. I loved it. All right, I'll compete with anyone. But when the opportunity to compete was no longer going to be there, no matter what I did, I had an opportunity to play later in my sophomore year, played really, really well against Temple, came in and won the player of the game. It was one of those games where everything went right as a quarterback, and was promised the next week that I was going to start against Pitt, practiced that way. Night before the game, came in, told me that they were going to start Todd, but I was going to play. Didn't see the
Why do you think that happened? Or do you know why it happened?
There's things I know why, and I think things that this isn't the forum for me to discuss. And I couldn't control it. So the only thing I could control was making the decision that I was going to prepare myself. If I had the opportunity, I was going to play well. And didn't get to play against Pitt. We went to a bowl game. I practiced the whole time to start. I was told I was going to start in the bowl game. And again, same thing, night before. We're going to start Todd, but you're going to play. Didn't see the field. I had every one of the assistant coaches come up to me after that game and just shake their head and said, "Sorry, Jeff, we just don't know what to say. You should be playing." Did you have, he's passed now, lingering resentment against Paterno? At the time, yeah, probably. And that was probably something from way back, just seeing the treatment of my brothers and other players, just seeing the inside the program. And you'll see that in a lot of programs. You'll see, when you get into the guts of it, it's not as great as what everybody thinks it is. So there are some of those things. You're dealing with 100 different guys and all their families. That's a tough job. I mean, that's so there was a resentment just, I think, on my end, as you promised me an opportunity to play, and then you just pulled the rug out. I could have started, I was a parade All-American as a linebacker coming out of high school. I could have started as a freshman at Penn State as a linebacker. I was really good as a linebacker. My two older brothers taught me all the techniques. I mean, I was big, strong, fast. I could have done it, but I wanted to go the different direction. Instead of hitting people, I wanted to get hit. So it was my least favorite position, but for some reason, God wanted me to go in that direction. And, when the door closed at Penn State, I just knew God wanted me to be playing somewhere. And
so how was the connection made? Do you remember the initial connection with West Virginia?
Yeah, actually, it was my older brother Doug who had done lots of trips down into the state business-wise, and he said, "Hey, Jeff, you got to go check out the new coach down there."
Did you know who he was?
Other than I played against him.
Yeah.
And so it was funny because that year, my sophomore year, the stadium had just been finished. The locker rooms weren't all finished yet. In fact, when we went, it was freezing rain, and we had no warm water, no hot water, anything like that. It was ridiculous. But as we came into the stadium, we had to walk down through the stands, and the fans already were starting to be in, and they were amazing. And I remember telling my roommate, who we were walking down, I said, "Wow, look at these guys." Yeah. So these guys would be great to play. Oh. It'd be great to play here. And never ever dreaming that the following year I would be there. So it was God had a plan for me. It wasn't how I had seen it in my eyes or how I had wanted it to be, but looking back in reverse, wow, if I would have had my way about it, my life would be completely different.
What was your first impression when you met Coach Nealon?
I loved the honesty part of it, the complete whatever he thought he was going to say.
Which remains true today.
Which remains true. As a player, you don't want to be BS'd all the time. And so you want to know exactly where you stand and why you stand there. And if you can't get that from a head coach or your assistant coaches or whatever, then you're going to have a tough time. And so that was the thing that stood out to me. Was how straightforward he was, and he said what he thought. Plus, he had this great-looking daughter.
Wait a minute, you had eyes on her even when you first arrived?
I noticed her, that's for sure.
The best thing about West Virginia is West Virginia.
It's family, faith, and integrity.
It's a strong work ethic.
Everyone knows their neighbors.
I think we feel closer to nature and we feel closer to each other.
You can achieve anything here.
To be a West Virginian is to be hopeful. We live in a state that has boundless opportunities, and with boundless opportunities come hope.
Hope Gas is lighting the way forward for West Virginia. Learn more at WVisforHope.com.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Poca Valley has proudly served the citizens of Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties for over a century. As your trusted community bank, we're committed to building relationships and meeting your financial needs. And with the Poca Valley Visa card, you can enjoy competitive interest rates, no annual fees, and a rewarding points program, all from a bank you know and trust. Visit your local Poca Valley office to apply or call us. Poca Valley, where relationships matter. Member FDIC.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Welcome back to State of Minds, presented by Hope Gas and by Greer Industries. You're at WVU. Was it always? Did you have any opportunities at other schools, or just kind
yeah.
of?
Yeah, I actually
where
almost
did you
went
almost
to Pitt.
go?
I almost went to Pitt.
Did you?
Yeah, I almost went to Pitt. Marino was there. I went. I just felt like it was a great organization as far as how they treated their players, the opportunity there after Marino. I thought, well, I would have 1 year. I might. It's close to home, close to family, and was real close to doing that. But then, when I came down here, met Coach and Dave Johnson, who was the guy that took me around. I just thought this was the place.
Yeah. One of the most significant victories during your 2 years here was the first game, of course. You've talked about it many, many times, going to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's ranked number 2. It was a brutally hot day. You have a great day, like 330 yards or something passing. West Virginia wins 41-27. Coach Nealon said he spent months preparing for that game. Months preparing. Did you go into that game? Did the team go into the game thinking we got a real shot to win this thing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really? We were
going to shock the world. Yeah.
Really? That wasn't just coach speak.
No, I have chills all over me because he did a great job of instilling confidence in having a certain attitude. He had pins that, attitude was one of those pins that I think I saw just recently.
And it wasn't a false confidence. It wasn't coach speak.
No. And I think as players, like when I came from Penn State, and I looked at the players we had at West Virginia. Honestly, we probably had less than a handful of guys that could have cracked the second team at Penn State.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it was like.
Yeah.
I mean, they were loaded with talent up there. Here, they weren't loaded with talent. And once you got past, a starter, it really dropped off. And even the starters, comparing to where I had come from, weren't at that level. The difference was the coaching. The difference was the attitude.
Really?
The difference was taking those players and getting the most out of each player.
More than they even thought they could give.
Yep. And relying on each other. And it was a team thing. It wasn't just an individual thing. There weren't the individual accolades that we were looking for. We were all looking out for the guy next to us, and they prepared us. It was we're going to win this game. It's not if we win or we have a chance. We're going to win this game. This is how we're going to do it. And so he sort of had a good blueprint that everybody jumped into, and we went into that game. We knew it was going to be hot, and we busted our butt all summer long, and guys just. They all dove in with us. Yeah. And I think when we went out there, we were very confident that we could compete with them.
Even though they got up 14-0.
Yep. And I remember going out there, and we had a couple opportunities, and whether I can't remember, we just didn't get it done our first two, I think it was our first 2 series offensively. But we felt like we could. I mean, we knew that we could, and when they went up 14-0, there wasn't any of this panic there. It's just, okay, let's go, guys, let's go. And, we proceeded to go out and then just start chipping away. And the more we chipped, the more confident that we got. And, it was, I think 113, 114 on the field. It was brutal. I mean, it was brutal. It was a sea of red. I go into that stadium, I still see it. It was a sea of red. And, we just started chipping away. And I think there was about a 6-minute time period in the second quarter that we just lit them up. And, we've got a wide receiver, Daryl. I can't think of Daryl's last name right now, but but anyhow, he had ACL surgery, he had knee surgery the year before, so he was still hobbling around. He probably ran a 4.9, and we're out there and we just attack him, and we threw a go over top because they said, no, he can't beat us.
Daryl Miller?
Yeah, yeah. I think, yeah. And so it was just a great guy, but just busted his butt. And, we just proceeded to go and just attack and not let anybody tell us that we can't do it. And, we came out. We have this big blitz in the second quarter, and we're successful. And for me, we were pushing the throttle, hammering it, and not going to let go because they were a high-scoring offense and they could change things quickly. Our defense played lights out, and I can remember running a draw play, curling back, and I can remember that field just opened up, and I can remember seeing him going, and that was the first moment that I allowed myself to think, we're going to get him. We're going to get him. And because my focus was on the full game, wait till that final whistle before we look up. And it was a pretty special time. Go through that kind of atmosphere, that kind of heat. But the best thing was on our way back when we got into Morgantown. They didn't have cell phones. They didn't have any of that. But the state police had radioed in and they said, hey, there's some people there at the stadium when you get there, just so you guys know, they're waiting for you. I don't know if it was 3 a.m. or what, but that bus comes in, and all of a sudden the lights come in, and as he's turning, they're shining on the parking lot. And we're all thinking, what? The whole parking lot was moving. We couldn't figure out what it's people. And they started banging on the buses. It was just a phenomenal time. And especially for me, it's just my first game and to be accepted as a Mountaineer. It was awesome.
Our radio station was part of saying, let's all go out and greet the team. And we were doing live coverage. So we were live on the radio as Coach England gets off the bus. And you know what he says? He says, hey, Don was already moving on, right? So he gets off the bus and says, Maryland's the key game, Maryland. He's already, moved on.
That was him.
And of course, it was a tough game, went on and beat Maryland.
Yeah.
You had a remarkable pro career. And Giants 86-92, Raiders in LA and Oakland for 4 years, and wrapped it up with Washington. 2 Super Bowl wins. One, you were the quarterback in the 91 Super Bowl, a classic game where you all beat the Bills 20-19. You had a great game, 20 of 32, 222 yards. Whitney Houston sang the national anthem. That was a seminal moment for football, and the Gulf War was underway. Mm-hmm. What were you thinking when she was singing that anthem? Boy, that's really impressive, or I'm thinking about my first series, or do you remember?
I remember. I was taking it all in. I can remember being really, really well prepared. I was really well prepared. In fact, I took a nap on the bus going over. I can remember the game.
You slept before you?
Yeah. I was really well prepared, and I had this real strong belief that God had me there for a reason, and I've gone through a lot of stuff. And I was when I started, it was my 7th year, 7th year waiting for 7 years waiting for an opportunity to play. And I think it was the 13th or 14th game of the season that we're coming up practicing that week before, and it was against Buffalo. Mm-hmm. And I can remember coming home and telling my wife at the dinner table, I said, babe, I'm done.
This is your quote. "It is really vivid for me. It was the week before the Buffalo game. I just came and said, that's it, I'm done."
Yep.
Because Sims was you guys have been battled back and forth, but Sims was the primary quarterback, and it looked like he was going to be the guy. So you were ready to quit.
Yeah, there was no.
You decided to quit.
I decided that was it. I mean, I had 7 years waiting for an opportunity. We didn't have free agency. All right, you couldn't just get up and go to another team. I had no opportunity to get away. I tried for years to get out of the New York Giants organization. There was no way to do it. And I had got the opportunity earlier on in the season 2 different times to played really, really well, brought us back from a deficit to beat the Cardinals. And a fourth quarter drive to a touchdown pass, and then turned it around with less than a couple minutes to go, drove us down, kicked a field goal with no time left to win the game. I got an opportunity against the Cowboys right after that. I think just in the middle of a game that was still in maybe the third quarter, we were seven points ahead, maybe something like that. And Parcells out of the blue, "Hostetler, you're in." Out of the blue, nothing's wrong with Sims, nothing like that. "Hostetler, you're in." I have to go find my helmet. Boom, I'm in. He's testing me. All right, drove us down, scored on a scramble. That was the last I saw the field. I had success, but yet that was it. And being behind Sims for the longest time, I learned a lot of things. He was playing lights out. It was impressive. All right, and I looked at that and I'm thinking, he's one of Parcells' guys.
And you were not.
And I wasn't. And
why not?
I wasn't drafted by him.
Coaches have their players.
Yeah.
A lot of coaches do.
Yeah. And that was Parcells. That was his MO. I mean, that's his style. I can't argue with his style. I can argue with it, and we did. We argued lots.
You guys fought.
We fought. Yeah. We had battles in his office.
Yelled?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What would he yell at you?
I don't really remember, to be honest with you, because it didn't really carry a whole lot of weight to me. He played a lot of mind games, and I just let him know I'm not a guy that you play mind games with.
You want just to be told.
Yeah, I don't. You're not going to get anything from your mind games on me. All right, that doesn't work with me. Now, a pat in the back or a positive, you're going to get something from me. And so we had battles, and he enjoyed the battle part.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he enjoyed So after one of these in his office, he came out, and as if nothing happened, then he came up to me and said, "You feel better?" And I just looked and I said, "Yeah, I do," because I got out what I wanted to get out. But he was a master manipulator, mind game, and very successful at it.
Had a good
and
run
that was his style. All right. One of the greatest compliments I ever got from Bill was after we were done playing, after I was done playing, and Bill came to me and just said, "Jeff," he said, nobody realizes the difficult position you were in, how difficult it was for you to do what you accomplished. He said, I wish I would have treated you differently.
Really?
I wish I would have handled you differently."
Really?
Which was awesome. And
that's an acknowledgement that you were following your own correct course.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I really hold those words extremely valuable because lots of times we do things and we think that they're right at the time, but then as time goes on, we realize, man, I wish I could have handled that a little different.
The Mountain State is full of pioneers once again.
We have one of the most advanced robotic heart surgery programs.
The world's most advanced clean steel facility. 2,000 construction jobs, 800 full-time permanent jobs.
West Virginia is going to end up being a leader, an example to the rest of the U.S.
West Virginia is for hope.
Hope Gas is lighting the way forward for West Virginia. Learn more at wvisforhope.com.
I have had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
New year, new trucks. Start your year off with a new truck from Dan Calva Toyota World. Now lease a 2025 Tacoma for as low as $299 a month. Save over $7,500 off on select Tundras or get 2.99% for 72 months. It's your last chance to get a gas model 2025 RAV4. Don't miss out. Come experience cars you can count on year after year. Dan Calva Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
Welcome back to State of Minds, presented by Hope Gas and by Greer Industries. You talk about that Super Bowl year, and Sims injured his foot or broke his foot, and you came in, won the remaining season, won the Super Bowl, but then Sims was the starter the following year, right? Or you were going to be the starter, but then Sims started?
I was the starter, yeah. And we had a competition. I played really well during the training camp and preseason. I was named the starter. I started, but that was Ray Hanley. Ray Hanley came in. Yeah, he was the new coach. So it was, Parcells saw the writing on the wall too. You know, being in New York, that's a tough place to play. The press is brutal. And having a quarterback controversy.
For 7 years.
Yeah. So this culminated with, now you've got 2 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks on your team. Who's going to start the next year? And there's really never going to be the correct, in the press eyes or in the fans' eyes, you're going to have, this guy should be starting or this guy should be. So it's going to be a natural controversy. I know Parcells saw that writing on the wall and, saw the age of his team and things like that. And he could have been burned out too. But Ray Hanley comes in a real tough, difficult position. And, I end up breaking my back somewhere during the season. Sims comes in and finishes the season. The following year, it's again, who's going to be the quarterback? And so there was this back and forth for those couple years. And my relationship with Phil during that time, I always had a good relationship with him when I was his backup. But when I became a starter or vying for that starting position, that relationship wasn't there. And it wasn't reciprocated like I had when I was a backup. I understand that. I would never have expected that. I would never expected that from Phil because I know how difficult it is to be a starter and then be relegated to something else, or how difficult it is to be a backup and know that you can play. So,
but all this is playing out in the media.
All that playing out in the media in New York City. Yeah, it's a tough place to be. And
how did you handle that?
It was tough. Whenever you are walking your dog and you go past a Pee Wee football game with 7- and 8-year-olders, and you got kids that aren't even playing in the game that are sitting on the bench that turn around and say, Hostetler, you suck.
And that happens.
And that happens. Whenever you have graffiti and that kind of stuff written on your home driveway or on your home fence, or when your son comes home and asks, Daddy, why does everybody hate you? That's kind of gone past where it should. And especially a year earlier, having just won a Super Bowl. So
no good deed goes unpunished,
yeah,
Jeff.
So it's one of those things that it was part of it. It's part of that's how people reacted. That's part of being in New York. That's the fleetingness of fame, and if you have valued yourself on what you do, you're in real trouble. And that was one of the things my mom and dad always taught us, your value is not based on what you do.
So you held that true even at that time, at the worst of that. You still held that to be.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough, but having my wife, my kids, knowing my faith that God had me there for a reason. He had a purpose for me, and I'm not out there trying to please the world. I'm trying to do what God's made me to do and how He's made me, and to be true to who I am. I had a great support system with my wife and my mom and dad and brothers and sisters and my kids, and I knew where my value was, and it wasn't, football again was something that I did. It's not who I am.
Mm-hmm. You finished up with Washington, 1997. You played 6 games. You started 3. How did you know it was time to retire?
I knew it was time whenever you didn't heal up physically after the previous season to when the next season began. That was number one. Physically, it was just the wear and tear on the body. And then mentally, what's life like in the fall when the leaves are changing and everybody's doing all these different things, and I'm still doing this. I'm still spending time in meetings. I'm still the stress of it, the requirements that you have to meet in order to be successful. And when you start questioning those or start thinking, I just don't want to put that time in, you know that it's time to move on.
And you were comfortable with that decision?
Oh, I never looked back.
Yeah. I want to go back, because you and I were talking earlier. I do want you to tell the story about you were a rookie with the Giants and your first scrimmage. Please tell the story where you met Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, first time really I met Lawrence Taylor. Obviously I was drafted by the Giants, and we had some mini camps, and you're just trying to learn things and that, and so you know of them. There may have been some hellos or whatever, but the first time I really met him was up close and personal. Came in as to training camp with the quarterbacks. Quarterbacks came in about a week early, and there were 3 other veteran quarterbacks, and we're all in there for a week. We have wide receivers and all that, and we're going through the passing game and things like that, getting prepared. And so I learned all these things from the veteran quarterbacks. Quarterbacks, they don't wear their chin strap. They have a red jersey. They aren't getting hit. You see all these things, and so I have a week of that. And then the vets come in, and in the morning they came in. They have their testing, and they get through their testing. And then in the afternoon we have practice. It is pouring. It's just miserable out, and we come out, and all of a sudden we stretch and that, and the next thing you know, Parcells pulls us all together. We're gonna have a scrimmage. First string D, you're out there, and then he proceeds to go through every rookie position, and put a rookie in it. And so, all this rookie team is going to go against the number one defense of the New York Giants.
The New York Giants, which was a really good defense.
Yeah, and Lawrence Taylor being on that end right there. And so, so we get in the huddle, and we're getting ready to call play, and Parcells says, wait a minute, it's live. Everybody's live. And I look down, I've got a red jersey on, I don't have a chin strap, and I'm thinking, okay, everybody's live. And LT says, hey, wait a minute, you mean quarterback's live? And Parcells says, everybody's live. And so LT, wait a minute, I can hit the quarterback? He's got a red jersey, I can hit the quarterback? And Parcells says, everybody's live. And so, he's kind of shaking his head. I get in the huddle. I call a play. Of course, the first play is a drop back. It's a 5-step drop back. And so, snap the ball. Boom, I hit my 5th step, and I am buried. I mean, I am buried. Mud, my helmet's turned sideways. I'm in the mud. LT turns me over, and he says, hey, when the head guy says I got to go, and he helps me up. And as I get up and I'm turning my helmet back around, and I look back, the 3 veteran quarterbacks all have their back to me. The offensive coordinator, Ron Earhart, has his back to me. And all I see is their shoulders just going. They are laughing so hard. And Parcells is just sitting there, and he's got this little smirk on his face. And it's like, okay, he's tested me. Here's my first test.
Jeez.
And so that was my first introduction to LT.
And that happened that's a great story. And that happened in practice. And today you can't do that in a game.
I'd still be playing now if I...
Do you have lingering aches and pains?
Yeah.
What do you have?
What don't I have?
I don't know. You look great. I mean, you're out there playing weight. You look great.
I appreciate it. I start from ankles, knees, hips,
Have
shoulders.
you had surgeries?
I had hip replaced. I've had surgeries on, ankles, knees. I think 5 or 6. Replaced hip, 2 on my shoulders. Are
you in pain right now?
No, I'm feeling pretty good.
What are your thoughts about? Finally, we'll wrap this up. What are your thoughts about the state of college football, portal, NIL, revenue sharing? What are your thoughts about that?
I think it's a mess.
Do you?
I think it's a mess. I think, I'm glad I'm not in that business.
Really?
I just think the young guys coming in are not prepared. All right, I look at the kids coming in, and their kids making more now in 1 year than I did, at any point in my whole entire 15-year career in the NFL. And I know how people are, they come out of the woodwork when someone has money financially, especially, with these young kids come out and maybe they're not prepared for that. Maybe they don't have in place the proper infrastructure or the people involved to be able to help them. And I think we've eliminated the thing that I learned through 7 years of being stuck in one position, the perseverance, the mental toughness, all those things, the difficult things that you have to go through in order to get better, to reach another level, to be able to fall back on whenever you do encounter some kind of circumstance.
Which you will inevitably.
Yes, and whether it's in football or whether it's in life. And I think we're doing a huge disservice to requiring these kids to stay in a certain spot, work through anything that pops, all the bumps in the road, work through them, all right? And throwing all this money and then not preparing them for it. I just think we're in a position that's unsustainable, and I think it's not only harming our kids, it's harming the product that we'll have out on the field throughout the country.
So those are very strong feelings. I'm going to ask you, though, just for fun, set that aside for a second and tell me that if it were today and you were transferring from Penn State to West Virginia, what would be your number? What would you be?
I don't even know. I hear some of the numbers, that the millions of dollars that are being thrown out, and
$2 million?
Nowadays?
Yes.
No, heck no. I'd have been higher than that if that were the case. Because that's what it is now.
Yeah.
You start seeing that, and I just can't fathom what's going on with college football right now. And it's not sustainable. There's if they're going to do this and they're going to play, what happened to school? What happened to the graduation rate? How have we prepared any of these kids after football? Because there's a very few number that are going to actually go on professionally and play that game. So we've done nothing to help these guys prepare for their future after football. And there's no requirements. I don't hear anything at all about, what's your GPA, what's your graduation rate, what is it? It's gone. And so why are you requiring them to go to class? They're professional athletes now. They're being paid. So with that comes other responsibilities, other treatment, how fans look at you. I think it's just. I'm not saying that the players shouldn't be paid. I thought they should have been paid way back when. Nothing on that scale. But if you're going to do it, then you need to have some things in place. The NFL has their free agency and their salary cap and things like that. You've got to have some checks and balances somewhere.
Jeff, thanks.
Thank you, Hoppy. Great seeing you.
Good seeing you.